We're now joined by the national chairperson of the South African Zionist Federation, Rowan Polovin. Rowan, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Perhaps let's start off with just your reaction as the national chairperson for the South African Zionist Federation in terms of, what has taken place in the Middle East.
So thank you very much for having me. We are appalled by these devastating scenes, this unprovoked attack by the internationally designated terrorist organization Hamas, with its agenda and its murderous barbarism that is intent on killing Jews. We strongly condemn this. Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish state, has a right to live in peace, and she has a right to protect her citizens and defend herself. Actions, terrorist group.
And Rowan, at the same time, we've seen the reaction from the Israeli government saying that it has now declared war on Hamas and basically reacting to what has taken place, and also subsequently they're saying that it will seize the Gaza Strip. What is your take on the reaction from the Israeli government?
Well, I think the opposite is the case. It is the Hamas entity that controls the Gaza, which has declared war on Israel, which is intent on doing everything it possibly can to target innocent Israeli civilians. Every single time Hamas fires a rocket from a civilian area in Gaza to a civilian area in Israel, it's a war crime. The abductions, the atrocious scenes that we have seen, pulling grandmothers, elderly grandmothers by their hair, dragging them, abducting them, targeting women and children, this terrible barbarism. This is not a legitimate entity. This is an entity that wants the destruction of Israel as a Jewish state. And Israel must do everything she possibly can to stamp out this terror, to prevent this kind of ongoing violence, and to ensure that her citizens are protected in every possible way.
And of course, Rowan, as you show your support for the people of Israel, we've seen comments coming out from the ruling party, the ANC, where it's quite clear that, they are showing support for the Palestinians and basically saying that Palestinians or Palestine's reality is the same reality as apartheid South Africa and what many people in South Africa went through under that government. Perhaps what are your thoughts on the stance of the ANC government when it comes to what is taking place in the Middle East?
Well, this is an absolute absurd and outrageous statement that we've seen from both the South African government and the ANC. Firstly, the fact that they make this malicious comparison, that they hijack the memory of South African apartheid and place it onto a foreign conflict that is no comparison. Israel is a full-scale, multicultural democracy that protects the rights of all citizens, of all religions, of all people who live there. And Israel is doing everything it can to operate in very difficult circumstances. We are extremely concerned, particularly by the way that the ANC, if you read their statement, in fact is justifying, these terrorist acts. This is not a simple situation. It's very, very clear. This is pure evil. When you see people beheading grandmothers, when you see people destroying infrastructure, targeting women and children, can anyone justify this on any kind of logic? The ANC needs to stop stoking the flame, on one side. In fact, the government can't play a role bringing the two sides together. They need to play a mediatory, conciliatory role. The African government actually has a role to play in bringing peace in the Middle East.
And Rowan, would you say, when it comes to the stance of the ANC, would you say that it's not warranted, particularly because of what has taken place in South Africa, because they likened it to, what South Africans went through under apartheid and what the reflections we are seeing right now in the Middle East?
Well, again, like I said, Israel is a multicultural democracy. everyone in Israel has a right to vote. Everyone is equal in Israel. There is affirmative action in Israel. When any kind of discrimination occurs, absolutely no comparison when all conceivable what goes on in Israel and what went on outside Africa. It is the thing that tragic of South Africa is being hijacked to justify a position of that ANC on an issue that is thousands of people resolved.
Rowan, we are battling to hear you there a bit. The sound quality is not so great. But, I wanted to find out from you, as the South African Zionist Federation, what sort of help will you be extending to, of course, I understand, the people of Israel during this time?
So we've certainly been doing everything we can that South Africans in Israel are safe, that general Israelis are supported. We are trying to assist with humanitarian efforts. We try to work with repatriation efforts, trying to work with Durban. Unfortunately, has downgraded the South African embassy in Israel, which means that it is very difficult for Durban to actually operate. So Durban is not able to say. So we, unfortunately, as a Jewish community, have taken on the job. And we'll do everything we can to support Israel, show support for peace, to show support for democracy, and to hope that the situation can calm down.
All right then, Rowan, thank you so much for your time.